Hello and welcome to the video. In this video, we are going to discuss about the release of a new Laravel version, which is Laravel 12. As you can see, Laravel 12 is recently released. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the new features that Laravel 12 come along with. So as you can see, first of all, our Laravel official documentation site UI is updated, as you can see, which is very cool and awesome. As you can see, we have our Laravel 12 gift video. All right, which is very awesome. Well, personally, I go through the documentation and I realize that there's no major changes from Laravel 11. So if you understand how to work with the Laravel 11, then you are totally fine. You are good to go with Laravel 12. So I'm just saying this just to clarify things to you because, you know, this project, this course is built using Laravel 11. So now that Laravel 12 is released, that doesn't mean you cannot follow along in this course because there are no major changes from Laravel 12 to 11. The only place that you're going to see something different is during the installation process while you try to install or run Laravel application on your local machine, and that has to do with the starter kits right here, because in Laravel 11 we have both the Laravel Breeze and Jetstream starter kits, but for Laravel 12, Jetstream and Laravel Breeze packages are depreciated. So during the installation process of Laravel 12, you will not have the Breeze package and the Jetstream package, but rather you're going to have the React starter kit, the Vue starter kit, and the Livewire starter kit right here. So this is basically the major difference that you're going to come across while trying to follow along in this course using the Laravel 12 framework. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to handle that. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use the Laravel Breeze package with the Laravel 12. So before we go ahead and get started with the installation of the Laravel 12 framework on our local machine, let's actually go ahead and take a look at some of this example, a live preview of this new starter kits right here that we are having. Let's go ahead and say live preview. As you can see, this is the new interface of our Laravel 12 framework, which is very cool and awesome. And as you can see, we have both our login and register authentications right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the login first. And as you can see, this is the new look of our login system for the React starter kits right here. Perfect. We also have our sign up page, which is this awesome and good looking sign up form. So this is basically for our React starter kits. We have for the Vue starter kit, we have the Livewire. So you can go ahead and take a look by clicking on the live preview button right here, the link. So you could go ahead and use any one of them if you wanted to. But for us, because we are using the Breeze package for this project, I'm going to go ahead and now show you how you can go ahead and use the Breeze package with the Laravel 12. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to go ahead and click on the documentation call to action button right here. All right, perfect. As you can see right here, we are on our Laravel 12 installation guide. As you can see, now we have our previous version, which is Laravel 11, and here we have an latest version, which is Laravel 12. So we need to make sure that we have the latest version selected, and we're going to go ahead and scroll down until we find the headings that says creating a Laravel application right here. So remember, to install Laravel application, you need to have PHP, Composer, and Node.js installed on your local machine. So after that, we can go ahead and start by creating our new Laravel application by simply installing the Laravel installer right here using the Composer command, Composer global required Laravel/installer. So we're going to go ahead and copy this command, copy that, and we're going to go ahead and navigate to our root folder right here. We're going to go to the Explorer like so. And here's our root folder within the XAMPP. This is our root folder, htdocs. So we're going to go ahead and open that. And we're going to navigate to our subfolder called workshop. All right, so here we're going to go ahead and create a new project, new Laravel 12 project. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here, type in the cmd, hit enter. All right, I'm going to go ahead and now paste our Composer command, Composer global required Laravel installer, and hit enter. So now our Laravel installer will be installed on our local machine if it is not installed. All right, perfect. As you can see, very quick, our Laravel installer is successfully installed. So now we're going to go ahead and start creating our Laravel application. So we're going to go ahead and navigate back to our installation guide right here. So after installing the Laravel installer, next step is to go ahead and start creating our Laravel application using the command Laravel new and then our application name. So we're going to go ahead and copy this command, navigate to our command prompt and paste this. And here our application name is going to be, let's go ahead and call it Laravel 12 example or Laravel 12 test, something like this. So this should be our new Laravel application name. So we're going to go ahead and now hit enter. All right, now our Laravel application will start to create. As you can see, it's asking us a question: which starter kit would you like to install? So as you can see, from among the available starter kits in Laravel 12, we do not have the Breeze or the Jetstream packages. So since we are not having the Breeze package that we wanted to use for this project, we're going to go ahead and select the none. So we're going to go ahead and say none and hit enter. And which testing framework do you prefer? We're going to say one, which is the PHP unit, and hit enter. And now our Laravel installer will start creating our Laravel application. So I'm going to go ahead and skip the video till when it requires our attention again to save time. Alright, now it's asking which database will your application use. So we have SQLite, MySQL, MariaDB, Postgres, SQL Server. So we're going to go with the MySQL. So we're going to go ahead and type that, MySQL, and hit enter. Alright, and now Laravel installer is asking another question: will you like to run the default database migration? So basically, a new database will be created after our application name right here, which is Laravel 12 test. So we're going to have a new database named as Laravel 12 test, and we're going to have our default migration run into that. So by default is selecting yes. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter, or we can simply type the yes right here and hit enter. Alright, perfect. As you can see, our default migration is run successfully. And now we have another question: will you like to run the npm install and npm run build? And we're going to say yes. So we can simply hit enter because yes is selected by default right here. And we're going to hold on a little bit for it to complete the process. Alright, perfect. As you can see, now our Laravel application is created successfully. Now we can navigate back to our project root folder. As you can see, now we have our Laravel framework successfully downloaded. And we can go ahead and open that. Alright, perfect. As you can see right here, let's actually go ahead and open our Laravel project in the VS Code, Visual Studio Code. So we can simply come over here back to the CMD, the command prompt. And we're going to now change the directory and enter inside of our Laravel application folder, which is Laravel 12 test. So from here, from the CMD, as you can see, we are within the workshop directory, which is the workshop directory right here, in which our Laravel application resides. So we're going to go ahead and now change the directory. We're going to say change directory cd, and we're going to navigate to the Laravel 12 test directory. And now we're going to go ahead and hit enter. And as you can see right here, we are inside of our Laravel application, which is Laravel 12 test. Perfect. So from here, we can simply go ahead and say code and space dot. And now our Laravel framework is going to be open inside of our default text editor. So in my case, my default text editor is the Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to go ahead and now hit enter. And now our Laravel framework will be open inside the Visual Studio Code. Alright, perfect. As you can see right here, we have our Laravel application open successfully inside the Visual Studio Code. Let's actually close this release note, and now we can go ahead and run our Laravel application. Let's go ahead and go to View, and we're going to go ahead and open a new terminal. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and type in the PHP artisan serve command, artisan serve, and hit enter. Alright, now application is running on the following server. So we can go ahead and now hold down control and then click on this link right here. And then our application will be open inside of our default browser right here. Perfect. As you can see, now we have our Laravel 12 application running successfully onto our local machine. Perfect. Let's actually go ahead and close this tab. And here we are only having the Laravel framework running without any starter kit. So if you remember correctly, we select none. We don't want to install the React or the Vue or the Livewire starter kit, but rather we wanted to use the Breeze package. So how do we go about using or working with the Laravel Breeze package on Laravel 12? So now I'm going to go ahead and show you how you go about that. Now we're going to navigate back to our installation guide right here. We're going to scroll up and find our Laravel versions, and we're going to navigate back to roll back to the Laravel version 11. So we're going to go ahead and select that. All right, and right here within the Laravel 11 documentation, if we go ahead and click on the starter kits, you're going to see right here we have the Laravel Breeze package. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and now install Laravel Breeze package using the installation command. So first of all, we're going to need to run this composer required Laravel Breeze dev. So we're going to go ahead and copy that command, and we're going to navigate back to our CMD, and we're going to go ahead and paste this command composer require Laravel Breeze dev and hit enter. All right, as you can see, our Laravel Breeze is installing. All right, perfect. As you can see, we have an Laravel Breeze installed. We are having the 2.3 version. Now we're going to go ahead and continue with the installation process. Let's scroll down. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and run this command, php artisan breeze install. We're going to copy that command, navigate back to our CMD command prompt and paste this, and then hit enter. All right, which Breeze stack will you like to install? So we're going to be using the Blade with Alpine. So we're going to go ahead and choose the Blade. So we're going to say Blade right here and then hit enter. And then will you like the dark mode? Yeah, if you want the dark mode, you can go for the dark mode. So as for me, I always want the dark mode. So I'm going to say yes. All right, and hit enter. And then right here, we're going to be selecting one, which is for the PHP unit. So let's go ahead and hit enter. And now our installation process and build node dependency begins. And I'm going to forward the video till when it's successfully done. All right, perfect. Our Breeze package is successfully installed. Now we can navigate back to our Laravel framework right here. And if you go ahead and now refresh our application, and here, as you can see here, we have our Breeze package successfully installed on our Laravel 12. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at both the login and the registration pages. So we're going to go ahead and start with the registration page right here. We're going to click on that. And perfect. As you can see here, we have our Breeze package successfully installed on Laravel 12, which is very perfect. Awesome. All right, as you can see, now let's navigate back and take a look at our login page. Perfect. Everything is now successfully installed. Now let's actually go ahead and register a new user right here within our databases. Let's actually go ahead and refresh our database. We're going to be having our Laravel 12 test database. All right, perfect. As you can see here, we have our Laravel 12 test database. And if you open that, you're going to see we have our default migration that we run during the installation process. Perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and create a new user. Let's actually go ahead and register a new user right here. We're going to enter the username. Let's go ahead and say John. Let's say the name is John Smith and the email is john@gmail.com. Password, let's say 1234567 1234567 for the confirm passwords. Let's go ahead and say register. All right, perfect. As you can see here, we have our John Smith registered successfully. And if you come over here inside of our database within the users table, you're going to see we have our users, our newly registered users information. All right, John Smith. Perfect. Okay. And right here inside of our application, source code, you're going to see right over here, if you go under app, HTTP, controllers, here we have our authenticated session controllers. Within the resources right here, it's going to see we have our views. Inside the views subdirectory, we have our auth. As you can see, everything is just like we've used it using the Laravel 11 framework, which is very awesome. So everything is basically the same when you use the Laravel Breeze package on the Laravel 12 framework. So now you can simply go ahead and follow along in this course without any issue whatsoever, using the latest released Laravel framework, which is Laravel 12. So friend, that will be it for this video. I hope everything is clear to you. And now you can go ahead and use your Laravel 12 framework to follow along in this course.